suck. Backgrounds don't suck, you're just too lazy and stubborn to do them. Backgrounds. You've got interiors, exteriors, cities, landscapes, bathrooms, bedrooms, caves, and literally everything. Apparently you want to know how to draw that, so I guess I'll try to tell you. Before we start, I just want to say that a lot of these techniques I've only just learned and am still learning as I go, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Not everything I say is law. Generally speaking, this is how I do backgrounds. First, I mindlessly scroll through social media until I'm inspired. This step can take anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 hours. Then, if needed, I'll gather photo references and move on to the sketch. After the sketch, I do line art, then flat colors, shadows, lighting, and finish it off with a little bit of FX. Now, somewhere in there, I should really add thumbnails and some more planning, but truth be told, I'm usually a little bit too lazy to bother with that, so most you'll get from me is a sketch. The only time I really plan something out is if it's a serious project or if I'm having trouble visualizing my ideas. So like I mentioned before, one of the first steps is just scrolling through social media for me. I follow a lot of art accounts that have really beautiful content that I love, and it constantly inspires me to make my own content. My phone is filled with folders of art that just inspires me, and so if I'm ever feeling really uninspired, I'll go back and scroll through all those, and then once I have my idea, I'll gather reference pictures on either Pinterest or Google. In art school, assignments don't really wait for your art block to leave, so sometimes you have to force that creativity to appear, and for me, mindlessly scrolling through social media helps a lot. Planning is a really important part of a good background. A lot of aspects go into backgrounds, and they're generally a lot more complicated than, say, just a character sketch. Because of this, planning is just that much more important. I find that a lot of artists, myself included, just do the entire character drawing and then try to slap a background on behind it. I know you've done that. You know you've done that too. Honestly, it's not that bad if you do, but your art will just look that much better if you plan the two of them together instead. Believe me. Planning a background, you want to think about a lot of things. Technical stuff like composition, foreground, midground, background aspects, and more emotional details like the story. Why does this background need to exist? What purpose does it serve to the story? Is there a reason to put this prop here? What's the mood of the piece? How do you want this drawing to affect your audience? What is the vibe? I can't believe I just said that. Anyways, another big part of planning is thumbnails. Thumbnails are great. They're a non-committal way of getting your ideas down fast, meaning that you have the freedom to change anything and everything in the thumbnail stage. You don't want to realize there's a glaring composition issue in your piece when you're already onto coloring. That's a lot of wasted time. Better to see the issue during thumbnails and change it when the fix takes a couple seconds versus a couple of hours. In fact, I used thumbnails when making this video. See, look, thumbnailception. TLDR, thumbnails are great and I should use them more, so should you. I feel like this stage is kind of self-explanatory, but I'll try and add a little bit of beef to it anyways. Basically, you do a sketch. Yeah. Sometimes I will do a sketch on actual real-life paper, but usually I just do it in the program I'm going to be working in, which for me right now is either Photoshop or Procreate. One thing about sketches that I'll mention though is to not leave a sketch and move on with your drawing if you're unhappy with it. You should be able to see kind of what the final drawing is in your sketch, and if there's a part that you're like, oh, that could use some work, or oh, don't worry, I'll fix that later. No, Susan, fix it now. You're not gonna fix it later. Just do it now. The sketch, much like the thumbnail, is a lot easier to fix than the final drawing. So just fix it. So, line art. Some people like it, some people don't use it, some people do. I am those people. Lines make life easy, at least in the programs I work with and the skill sets that I've developed so far. Lines are just, they're so nice. I do sometimes work with drawings in a lineless style, but they make me want to throw my computer off a 40-story balcony, so I only do lineless art if I'm in an especially good mood. Pros of working in a lineless style: it looks pretty cool. Cons: until I learn a better way of doing it, it's hard. Pros of working with line art: it's easy. Cons: you have lines. Lately I've taken to doing a colored line art style, but I'll probably cover that some other time, so if you want to know about it, just ask me. Also, while we're on the topic of lines, I thought I'd quickly mention perspective. Honestly, perspective is a beast of a subject in and of itself, so as much as it might make sense for me to talk about it in the background video, I'm gonna forgo it for now. If you'd like to hear me wax poetic about it though, let me know and I'll probably make another video about it in the future. For now, just know that if you're doing a stylized background, that perspective doesn't have to be perfect for that. That's not to say to just completely throw it out the window and ignore it, but it's more of like a comfort blanket just to reassure you that, hey, if your perspective isn't perfect, you're still okay. Anyways, colors. So here's where I let my true color shine. I am a cheater. I don't understand colors. I don't come from a traditional art background, so I've never learned actual color theory, but colors just suck, man. I've finally gotten to the point where I can kind of pick colors when designing characters, because I've done that a lot longer than I have backgrounds. But when it comes to backgrounds, I've come to the realization that I have no idea what color literally anything is. Off the top of your head, name 5 books and the color of their covers, because I can't. And because of this, I found a new and improved way of finding colors. I color pick from photos, constantly. It's probably not a good thing, but I do it anyways. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I mentioned gathering reference pictures for locations. I also use those same reference pictures for color picking. I just kinda boop, and then boop. Take their color, change it slightly if I'm not feeling it, and bam! That's how I color my pictures. That being said, colors affect the feel of the piece mood-wise a lot. Warm versus cool and the emotions associated with it, that kind of jazz. That stuff is what really is going to affect your drawing in the end. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your colors and pick them carefully. I shade one of 2 ways. Either I use cell shading or painted shading. I'm going to cover cell shading in my character video though, so for now I'm going to focus on painting shading exclusively. Full disclosure about this though, I learned this technique this semester, so I'm still getting the hang of it, but here are my 2 cents anyways. So using your flat color, you want to go up to your color wheel, square, diamond thingy, and simply drag your color slightly darker and either warmer or cooler depending on the mood of the piece. Sad drawing? Drag your color cooler. Try keeping the amount that you change your color consistent. Don't drag a bit for the wall and a lot for the skin. It shall look whack. A little goes a long way, at least I think. I did mention that I'm new to this. Anyways, yay, colors. I hope that kind of makes a bit of sense. Yes! Okay, I love lighting. Shading is kind of a part of that, but I just love making stuff glow. It's a lot of fun. Like, just shiny, beautiful light. It's great. I like to think that if my drawing looks like a hot piece of garbage, good lighting can really save it. I pretty much exclusively do lighting by using this lovely thing called layer modes. What I do is create a new layer above my flats and my shadows and set it to either add or color dodge. Then basically I just color in where I think the light should be coming from. So say it's a bedroom and there's a window, light would be coming from the window, because that makes sense. I end up using multiple light layers usually as well, mostly because I like to have a softer overall light effect as well as a harsher room light on the edges of my drawing. Usually I use the add layer mode. I only use color dodge if it's an object glowing a natural color, something like bright pink or teal. Add works really well for getting a bright natural light feel, while color dodge really helps more so for those kind of neon cyberpunk stuff you want to do. And last but not least, one of my other favorites, effects. This includes everything from sparks, particles, magic stuff, webs, you name it, anything that's kind of floating through the air and not really relying on the laws of physics, that kind of stuff. So poop some of those on if needed, and then your piece is done. Wrong. No, there's one more thing that I've started doing recently, and I think it's pretty cool, so I'm gonna tell you about it. Once everything is completely done, export your drawing as a JPEG or PNG, whichever one is higher res for you. I usually do JPEG just because it's quicker. Then put that image back into your drawing file on top of everything. Like, it should be your very top layer. Make sure you're still selected on the very top layer. Go to motion blur and add a little bit of that, and then add a little bit of noise as well. Then you want to add a layer mask to that top layer. You want to grab a soft brush eraser and erase the areas that you want to be in quote unquote focus. So basically what we're doing with this is creating an in focus part of the piece and an out of focus part of the piece. Helps really draw the viewer's eye if you want to get into the technical jargon. I think it's pretty cool, and if you want to use it, use it. If not, then I don't know, have fun, I guess. But now that's actually it. So just sign, export, and bam, you're done, honey. Woo! Moral of the story, backgrounds can be fun if you let them be fun. They can also really help bring a story to your drawing. So stop being a lazy poop and take the time to do your backgrounds, you lazy son of a